Good morning to all of you and welcome to the Metro East Unitarian Universalist congregation. And greetings to those watching the service remotely. This is a welcoming religious community and we are so glad you are here. I am Rachel Eichelman. My pronouns are she, him. I joined this congregation earlier this year and having grown up in several UU churches, I am glad to call Metro East UU my spiritual home. I am an archival technician working in the National Archives and Records Administration to help veterans and their families get the records they need and to make sure that the records stay protected and maintained. This is my first time as worship associate, and I'm so glad to be with you this morning. The MEUUC is located in Glen Carbon, Illinois, spiritually led by our pastoral fellow, Eden Johnson. We gratefully share sacred space with the Edwardsville Masonic Lodge. In the pulpit today, we have Robin Berkeley. Robin has been a member of this congregation since 2010. She is a former board member and president and is a department chair at SIUE in the Management and Marketing Department. She currently serves as the worship coordinator and is a big part of why my husband and I personally chose to continue attending here. Our mission drives us to live our values. Outward reaching, inward seeking, we are creating and nurturing an intentional community that values acceptance, social justice, and the embodiment of UU principles. Come, let us question together. I am so glad you're here. Whether in the sanctuary or online, we welcome everyone to this home of comfort, spirit, justice, and hope. We are Unitarian Universalists. Please take a moment to reach out and welcome someone you don't know or haven't seen in a while and say hello. How long do we do this? Give them a few minutes. Okay. We begin our service with a prelude by our pianist, Joy Heft. So beautiful. I blame it on Alex. Yeah. An important ritual in the Unitarian Universalist faith is the lighting of our chalice. Unitarian Universalists have many different interpretations of the flaming chalice, including the light of reason, the warmth of community, and the flame of hope. If you are watching elsewhere and have a chalice or candle, please light it now as we all join in saying the unison words projected on the screen. We light this chalice as a symbol of love and revelation, always ongoing, always expanding. We light this chalice in hope for the future of our church, our community, our country, and our world. May love center us always. Our opening prayer is The Summer Day by Mary Oliver. Who made the world? Who made the swan and the black bear? Who made the grasshopper? This grasshopper, I mean. The one who has flung herself out of the grass. The one who is eating sugar out of my hand. Who is moving her jaws back and forth instead of up and down. Who is gazing around with her enormous and complicated eyes. Now she lifts her pale forearms and thoroughly washes her face. Now she snaps her wings open and floats away. I don't know exactly what a prayer is. I do know how to pay attention, how to fall down into the grass, how to kneel down in the grass, how to be idle and blessed, how to stroll through the fields, which is what I have been doing all day. Tell me, what else should I have done? Doesn't everything die at last and too soon? Tell me, what is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life? Our first hymn is hymn number 6 in the gray hymnal, Just as Long as I Have Breath. The words will be projected on the screen. It is a tradition here at Metro East UU Congregation to place each service within the larger values that we as Unitarian Universalists hold dear. Today we are lifting up the values of equity, justice, and pluralism. Robin will share with us her perspective on the importance of living life to the fullest, not just for ourselves, but also for our community at large. How do we cultivate a precious life? And how do we ensure everyone has the opportunity to do the same? As part of our weekly worship service, we take time for the expression of joys, concerns, or sorrows. This is a place where we can each share the things that weigh down our souls or fill us with joy, and where those we love surround us in good times and in turmoil. If you would like to recognize a joy, sorrow, or milestone, you can come forward and place a stone or several stones in the water bowl to represent your joys and sorrows. There are stones at the front. Come forward on my left and place a stone or stones in the water, a symbol of what you carry in your heart. Then proceed back to your chair to my right. If you are unable to come forward, let someone know and a stone will be placed in the water on your behalf. Let us be in a spirit of prayer and meditation.
Welcome to Learn Conmigo. Today we are going to read We Are Water Protectors, written by Carol Lindstrom, illustrated by Michaela Goad. Water is the first medicine, Nokomis told me. We come from water. It nourished us inside our mother's body, as it nourishes us here on Mother Earth. Water is sacred, she said. We stand with our songs and our drums. We are still here. The river's rhythm runs through my veins, runs through my people's veins. My people talk of a black snake that will destroy the land. Spoil the water, poison plants and animals, wreck everything in its path. When my people first spoke of the black snake, they foretold that it wouldn't come for many, many years. Now the black snake is here. Its venom burns the land, courses through the water, making it unfit to drink. Take courage. I must keep the black snake away. From my village's water, I must rally my people together. To stand for the water, to stand for the land, to stand as one against the black snake. We stand with our songs and our drums. We are still here. It will not be easy. We fight for those who cannot fight for themselves, the winged ones, the crawling ones, the four-legged, the two-legged, the plants, trees, rivers, lakes. The earth. We are all related. Tears like waterfalls stream down, tracks down my face, tracks down my people's faces. Water has its own spirit, Nokomis told me. Water is alive. Water remembers our ancestors who came before us, she said. We stand with our songs and our drums. We are still here. We are stewards of the earth. Our spirits have not been broken. We are water protectors. We stand. The black snake is in for the fight of its life.
We will now sing the children out to Ari. Our next hymn is number 123 in the Gray Hymnal, Spirit of Life. Words are projected on the screen. Our reading today is The Stubborn Gifts of Breath and Life by Maureen Killoran. It felt like being on the moon, walking on Mount St. Helens. Just a few years previous, that mountain had blown her top, destroying human and animal life, flattening vegetation and buildings for miles around, and sharing its ash with the world. As we stepped from our car, we felt that ash drift like talcum around our ankles, rise in the air, enter with our breath. Other than occasional blacked memories of trees, all was gray, gray as far as you could see. Silence seized us for the longest time as we stood there, two irrelevant humans and this huge, mutilated world. Only gradually did our eyes slow and our hearts focus. Only gradually did we begin to see what was really before us. How had we overlooked the fireweed, that perennial volunteer, its brilliant buds proclaiming, "Hey world, we're back"? What blocked us from celebrating the eager insect conversations around us? It was right there before us, and we nearly walked away. Overwhelmed by the devastation, we almost missed the tiny pond, its surface literally dancing with more tadpoles than I had ever seen. We do this, you see. We ensnare ourselves with the magnitude of what the poet called the mutilated world. We get busy and troubled and frightened, and then, incongruously, it's time for Thanksgiving. I, at least, need this season to remind myself to be grateful for intermittent beauty and the stubborn gifts of breath and life. I, maybe you too, need this season, even if just quietly, to say, praise be. Our message today is presented by Robin Berkeley.
Thank you, everybody. I'm going to take my shoes off because I hate shoes, as you all know. Yeah, just take your shoes off and be comfy. We're at home. Put your feet up. Have a good time. Okay, so today's message is one of my favorite quotes, and it was also the favorite quote of my brother-in-law. It was called, "Life is precious, don't waste a drop." And it's not his original thoughts, honestly, but he was a Buddhist and had gone to programs all over the world, literally Bali and wherever. Right? And there was a Buddhist retreat. He was there, and he was the influence for me to explore Buddhism in a deeper way. It was always something, oh yeah, people are Buddhist, but I didn't understand it until I started talking with him about it more. My brother-in-law, Rob, has always, and it's Robin Berkeley, it's kind of that thing too. We always had a bond, a friendship bond that we connected. He mattered a lot to me and to my children. And as many of you know, there was a point in time when my ex-husband had sort of disappeared from my kids' lives and my life. And he stepped in as best as he could, right, 1,000 miles away, because he split his time between Massachusetts and Florida when he wasn't traveling all over the world. He was a wonderful executive coach, and he used his Buddhism and infused that in the work that he did with clients. He worked for, he did a lot of work with Barack Obama's administration when they were exiting and at the end of his presidency. So this is a guy who was really well connected and really inspirational. His funeral was really amazing. And I say his funeral, he died at 59 of stomach cancer. And we miss him desperately to this day. So he got me connected, as I said, with Buddhism, and it was really that spiritual grounding that finally resonated for me. I left the Catholic Church in my early 20s and was struggling to figure out what mattered to me spiritually, and I never really found anything until I found that, and then I found you, and well, the rest is history. So, but this saying that I now have as a tattoo on my arm, that saying stayed with me, and through his life, of course, and then even through his death. He died how he lived, right? Which is making every moment precious and worthwhile. He lived with inspiration and he died with inspiration. And he taught me how to live well and to die well. And the last time that the kids and I visited with him, he asked us, he says, "What do you want to share with me?" He wanted to make sure there was no unspoken words between us. So he gave us an opportunity to share how we felt about him, how we felt about the world, and what have you. And at one point, he turned to me and he says, "You have been my inspiration." And I'm like, "Me?" Like, and it just, it just hit me hard. And then walking away for the last time was the hardest thing I ever did. Saying goodbye, because I knew he was going to die in a few months after that. And in fact, my sister-in-law told me that my text message to him, probably a day or two before he died, was the last text message he read and responded to. So anyway, let me gather myself here for a moment. So he taught me how to live well and to die well. So the Mary Oliver poem, we've been working through all the elements for the service, and that Mary Oliver poem really resonated, I think, for both of us. And it's like, what are you going to do with your one wild and precious life? And sorry about that. There we go. With our wild and precious life, and most UUs have no idea what the afterlife is, as we all have discussed it many times at length here. We don't know what that looks like. So what we have is what we have right here and right now. We have this life, and we have to live with the idea that this one life is what we have, and we need to make the best of it, because it's in these actions, that if there is an afterlife, yay, and that's great, and we want to be prepared for that. But we do that by our good works and our connections with others and caring about people, all the things in that lovely little graphic that you see every week when we talk about our UU values. So when I think about what the poem and what this saying means to me, it's at two levels, right? It's, how do I live my life purposefully and intentionally, and not wasting a drop of the life that I've been given, but also globally. How do we work with our community? The water caretakers that we heard in the story for the children in our final prayer also kind of deals with some of that stuff. Like, how do we care for our environment? How do we care for the community at large? So that is a precious life as well. And how do we balance caring for ourselves and caring for that environment all at the same time? And what can we do to live our lives as in the precious life that we have, living that to the fullest, but also contributing so that everyone has an opportunity to live a precious life. For me, my journey towards embracing this obviously started after my 9/11 experience. For those of you that are new to us here, I am a 9/11 survivor. I was in New York, pregnant with my son, who's sitting in the back. When that happened, and ran for my life and all that kind of stuff. If you want to hear the story later, I'm happy to share it with you. But I don't want to get into it for the purposes here. But it was one of those profound moments for me where I realized I needed to figure out me, and I needed to figure out what mattered to me and to start to be more authentic. So at that time, I made the decision to come out as a lesbian, to start a spiritual journey of sorts, hence the whole thing with the Buddhism and kind of getting into that a little bit more. And so, every year, every experience joining this church was a big part of that as well, of trying to figure out what mattered to me spiritually, what mattered to me as a full human being, to live my best life. And I think after my last breakup, which was at the end of 2018, in fact, probably 3 days after my brother-in-law died, because his death kind of made me realize I needed to make a better decision for me. And I knew he had my back, literally and figuratively. But I realized I needed to finally live my life more fully for me and not for others. And so that relationship pulled me away from this church. And I knew that was not something I wanted anymore. So how did I do that? Well, self-care, of course, which includes therapy, and then being open to and embracing whatever opportunities were in front of me. And so I started to do that. I went on my first European trip by myself in 2022, and have not stopped traveling since. It's always was like later. Well, we got to save money. We got to do this. And I'm like, screw it. I'm going. I don't care what it takes. And yes, it's hard. And sometimes financially it's a little tight, but I have memories that I can't trade for anything. And this is what's important to me. So I traveled, I explored myself, I explored new worlds. I've been on this weight loss journey. That's a big part of that as well. It's like, how am I putting me first, right? I've lost 61, 62 pounds in the last year. So I embraced a new job that I swear to God, if you had asked me 2 or 3 years ago, would you like to be a department chair? I would have laughed at you and said, shut up and go away. But now I am, and I actually kind of like it. Don't tell anybody. Because it's different than what you're taught as an academic, right? You're supposed to teach, you're supposed to be engaged with your students. And now I'm like, I do it in a different way. And honestly, I learned some really good lessons as president here, which made doing that actually a lot easier. So, I mean, not that this was hard, not that being here was hard, and not that that was hard, but they really helped me to learn how to help in a different way than I would have thought about. What therapy did, what this attitude of, embracing life to its fullest, is it put me more in touch with my likes and dislikes, right? It helped me establish really clear boundaries of what is or isn't acceptable to me, which in the past, my codependence was like, yeah, okay, well, they like me, and all right, I'm just going to go along and get along. And I realized that's not working. It doesn't work. So this brought me confidence, and it brought me peace inside. Investing in yourself is never a bad idea. And it's not about being selfish, as we think about that as a negative word, but being self-focused and self-aware and self-supportive, embracing the life that you want for yourself. And I wasted too many years acquiescing to others who didn't want me to create my own identity or to do what makes me happy. And I spent more time making peace with others and forgetting instead of creating peace within me. So that is something that I have worked on for quite a while. So life is really, really, really short, as we all know, and life is incredibly precious. And you've heard people say the year of saying yes. You've heard people talk about that, right? Where it's like anytime something new comes to them, they say yes. And some celebrities, I think Shonda Rhimes did a year of saying yes, and Oprah did a year of saying yes, or whatever, those kinds of things. So it sounds really trendy, and it's really easy when you've got a lot of money and you can say yes to all sorts of really cool things. But we don't have to have a lot of money to do that. We can say yes to the daily. We can say yes to anything that comes in front of us. Yes, I can help. Yes, let me do what I can do to help you. In fact, I just got you saw me texting earlier, and I apologize. But Aiden, who was a member of this church, has been dealing with some family struggles. And he asked me if I could help with something. I said, can't help today, but I can help you later this week. I said yes to that. And that's hard to do because I'm juggling a lot, but I also know, he's got 8 kids. He's juggling a lot too, with Heather still being in the hospital and in rehab. And that's a lot. So anyway, it's okay to say yes. Yeah. Okay. It's okay to say yes. And it's okay to say, I'm going to take this on. I'm going to do this. Why say no, right? No is easy, right? If anybody's done improv, right? We do an exercise when we open an improv session, when you're exposing people to that for the first time, you say, okay, we want you to have a conversation, and just have a conversation. Then we say, okay, anytime the next step in the conversation is that anytime this person says something, you disagree with them. And that's the funny thing. It's like, well, I like lasagna. No, you don't. You hate lasagna, right? That kind of thing. And you can feel the energy in the room gets comical, and it gets loud, and it gets boisterous, because no is easy, and no creates this passion in us, right? Of like, no, I'm not going to do that. You can't make me, blah, 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 blah. And then you ask them to say yes to everything. And the energy changes in a good way. It's calmer, it's more peaceful, and it's about connection. So that yes and is, yes, I accept this, and I'm going to give something back to you. improv has helped me as well. I've never taken a class in it, but I've worked with some folks, and I just find it amazing. So say yes to these opportunities. Why say no when you can say yes? Loving ourselves first and foremost is important, and we need to embrace living joyfully, and even when things are hard, because they are hard. They're hard right now, not just personally, because people say, how are you doing? Like, my life's pretty damn good, but man, why am I feeling this heaviness? And that's because there's a lot going on out there. Hold on. That's for Moran. Didn't get a chance to do that before. So saying yes is good, and saying yes enables us to live our life to the fullest, even when it's really, really stinking hard. So how do I contribute to a larger and more all-encompassing level to ensure that life is not wasted, not just for me, because we can all invest in ourselves, and that's really important. And I want to reemphasize again how important that is. But also, how do we make sure that our larger community also has that opportunity to live its life to its fullest? And this really gets at that interdependence and plurality of our UU values and beliefs, that caring for others can be about caring for ourselves first, because of the interdependence. We have to care for ourselves first in order to be able to give something to another. But I also want to be clear that we should not care for others in exclusion of caring for ourselves. There has to be a balance between the two. Our old UU principles, which are embedded in our new values in our graphic, talks about all life has dignity and worth. And that's very true. And that's really what this is getting at, right? This whole idea of life is precious. Everybody deserves a precious life. Everybody deserves to have the most out of their life, the best that they can. And so that is ground. Sorry, I'm talking with my hands like an Italian here, so I apologize. That's the thing that matters the most, right? Is making sure that we recognize people's values. So we need to care for our fellow humans, period. Hard stop, right there. Just care for our fellow humans, give what we can. And care can take many, many forms. For me, it's about ensuring people are fed, right? That the homeless are treated with dignity at our local OWL program. That when friends ask me, like they just did, to step up to the plate and then do what I can within my abilities, I do that. I try my best to do that. But I also remember that I have to put on my own oxygen mask first. Not in a selfish way, but in a self-sustaining way, that if I can't breathe, I can't do what I can in my life for myself and for others. No is a full sentence, so don't forget to say no. And there are times I've had to say no to him. I'm like, nope, I can't do that, but I will do something else for you. And that's all we can do. How else can we help? Well, we work for social justice. That's what is the profound part of who we are as UUs, is the social justice work. Being anti-racist, anti-sexist, being pro-LGBTQ+, being pro-immigrant. We can protest like we do on Fridays here in Edwardsville. We can recycle. We can help with the environment. We can help fight the proliferation of AI data centers like we did successfully in Troy, Illinois. Yay. I mean, and I use AI, don't get me wrong. I mean, I kind of have no choice. I mean, I'm sure you'll experience this obviously in the School of Engineering too, right? It's like the students are using AI and we are being told we've got to start thinking about how do we use AI ethically, which is really hard to do, but it's there and we can do that. But that doesn't mean it needs to proliferate and become the everything. So let us be the master, not let habit master us, if you will, in that sense. Fighting for solar energy. Let me tell you, my electric bill was really cheap this past month because I got solar energy and it's not affected by the Straits of Hormuz. So, I mean, we can laugh about it, but if we can do that, these are things that help the environment. It makes a difference. Everybody deserves the right to lead a precious life of opportunity. So when we see those systemic barriers, we can fight to remove those barriers, whatever they may be. When we're looking at a situation, we think, why did that happen? Go back to the source and then fix the source so that we don't have those continued problems downstream. And you've heard me say this before. Archbishop Desmond Tutu, sometimes we pull people out of the river and sometimes we got to go upstream and figure out, why do they keep falling in the river in the first place? Because that happens. Like, we can rescue people, but rescuing gets exhausting because the patterns keep repeating. Going upstream says, hey, let's make sure you're not hungry in the first place, that you've got a safe place to live. That's what we need to work on. And that's what I think most of our politicians are not willing to do, unfortunately. If we do that, everybody, Did I hear something? Amen. Thank you. I was like, I heard somebody, but I didn't hear what it was. Amen, sister. So everyone needs to have that opportunity for that precious life. So we shouldn't waste time hemming and hawing. We should let justice and equity be the guide in everything that we do, whether we're working to enhance our life or the lives of others. We should be guided by the premise that life is precious. As Mary Oliver implies in her poem, don't waste a drop of that precious life, that precious time, that precious effort, because we are deserving and the world is deserving of our best efforts. And I'm reminded, I looked forever for this quote last night. I could not find it anywhere, and then I found it. It's a quote attributed to Hunter S. Thompson. Life should not be a journey to the grave with the intention of arriving safely in a well-preserved body, but rather to skid in broadside, thoroughly used up, totally worn out, and totally loudly proclaiming, wow, what a ride. And that's, Hunter S. Thompson is my spirit animal, I guess, because that's the approach I'm taking. Everything I do, even if it doesn't have to be grandiose, it can be just something as simple. Can I create joy from that? Think about, right? All the things we hear about Marie Kondo. If it sparks joy, you keep it. If it doesn't spark joy, you get rid of it. Yeah. And that's what we need to do. If it's serving you, you keep it. If it's not serving you, toss it away. I walk into my garage and I went the other day, I think I told my mom this. I said, I walked into my garage and went, I have way too much stuff. I got way too much stuff. I don't need all this stuff. So I'm like, when things come this summer, I'm going to start purging stuff, because stuff doesn't give me joy the same way it used to. Now I want to travel. Now I want to do those kinds of things, and the things don't matter to me as much. So I want you all to skid in broadside and embrace life. And because life is precious, and please don't waste an ounce of it. Take every opportunity you have in front of you to make the one life that you have the best it can be. And in doing that, also making it the best for everybody else around you. Amen. Woohoo. All right. Our last hymn is number 163 in the gray hymnal, For All That Is Our Life. The words are projected on the screen. What?
I don't know. I probably put it wrong.
Yeah, whatever you put in the script is what I did. So forget it. 128. Perfect song, Joy. Thank you.
We have announcements. Oh,
Nope,
do we?
stewardship
Nope,
first.
stewardship first.
How do we lose stewardship in my script? Oh well, no worries. Sorry.
All right. We have stewardship. If we can have someone take around the back.
Yes, Jamie's got it.
Jamie is going to do it.
Yeah, you might as well. We'll ad lib here.
Okay.
Yeah. So donate what you can, what you will. We're still got our stewardship campaign rolling. So if you can make a donation, we appreciate that.
And guests don't feel obligated.
Oh no,
Yes,
guests,
thank you.
please
Guests
don't
not
feel obligated.
to give. This is our gift to you.
This is our gift to you. We all know.
You can donate on Giveify or mail your check in, either way, or bring it here and deposit it in the basket. Jamie doesn't care. She goes, I will take it as it comes.
May this offering equip us to inspire love and seek justice. Now announcements. Our upcoming speakers are on the 19th, Reverend Claudia Hall, and on the 26th, Jamie Riedesel. That makes sense.
That's all.
No, it doesn't.
German doesn't make sense, but that's fine.
We are having an adult religious enrichment class today after church. We are going to need to take down the chapel after the adult religious enrichment class, so we will need some volunteers to stay behind to do that. If that is something that folks are willing to do, please and thank you. The pledge drive, we need a new home by the end of 2026, and this needs money. The goal is $85,000 pledged by July 2026, and we have 39,930 so far as of this morning.
Yes.
Okay, you can pledge online or from the plate. And reminder, April 19th is our congregational meeting. After the service by Dr. Claudia Hall on the 19th, we will convene our bylaws meeting to consider amendments to the bylaws and hopefully pass our bylaws in time for our annual congregational meeting in June. In order to pass bylaws, we need to have a quorum of voting members. If we don't have a quorum on the 19th, we will try again for the backup meeting on May 10th. If we are unable to get a quorum on the 10th, our first order of business at the annual congregational meeting in June will be to pass the bylaws.
How many is a quorum right now? That's a great question.
It's a very good question.
It's 25%, right? Wasn't that the quorum?
25%, so
25% of however many members we have, which we don't know that specifically right on the top of our head, but
it's somewhere between 20 and 30.
that sounds about right. Yeah. So let's get 30 people show up. And if you want to be a member, you can sign the book and you get to vote if you're not
Yep.
a member now. So
Also, before we extinguish the chalice, the ramp at New Song is about halfway finished. I invite you to join me in reciting a prayer as we extinguish the chalice. The light of truth and meaning
cannot be put out. We
are keepers of this flame until we meet again.
Our closing words are by Carol Hepikowski. My environmentalism and my humanism are inextricably related. My humanism tells me that human life is important and worthy of respect and care. My environmentalism tells me that to be human is to be part of an interdependent circle of all life. It is counterproductive to imagine ourselves as separate. My knowledge of today's world informs me that the planet Earth, and thus human life, are in danger because of the threat of global warming. I want to see life, including human life, preserved and thriving on our planet. My environmental humanism compels me to work to reduce the causes of climate change, the human practices that threaten the survival of life on Earth. Our postlude will be presented by Joy Heft.
One of the first sort of women's music people. If you're a lesbian, you know Chris Williamson because she's foundational to the women's movement, music movement, Olivia Records, and all that kind of stuff. So when I first came out, I had a girlfriend who gave me her very first album, which was obviously in CD form, but it was like the first album made by women, for women, about women, you know, with a whole women crew and the whole things. So that was a song that my kids loved. I loved to hear it. And so we would play that song over and over again. And you in particular, my son, would go, play the La La song, because there's a part in the song where it goes, la, 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 la. And so when he was like 4 or 3 at the time, he loved that. So I got to meet Chris Williamson a couple of years ago at one of the National Women's Music Festival. And I went up to her and I said, you know, I said, we got to meet you. And I'll never forget my son, you know, you asking my son what was his favorite song. And he says, the La La song. She said, and I had no idea what he was talking about. She says, I don't know that song. And I said, it's Song of the Soul. She says, oh, okay. So when I saw her recently, I said, you know, if you remember, I don't know if you remember the story, because she meets millions of people. And I said, and this was the song. She goes, it is the only upbeat song I have ever written. I'm like, so there you go. So anyway, it was fun. The La La song. All right.
All right. Stay if you will, go if you must, in perfect love and perfect